Hello everyone, have a nice day and have a good day. And today we'll be discussing, and that will be our first meeting and first discussion on the agriculture extension and communication for Bachelor in Agricultural Technology, third year student here in Davao Oriental State University, San Isidro Extension campus. Okay, well, agriculture extension and communications, meaning to say we have to extend to the communities, to the people, particularly to the rural people, and we have to communicate and we have to extend to them the technologies or any innovations, interventions that would be of great help to the community and to the rural people. No? And that is, in general, the the very rough um descriptions of agriculture extension and communication. So you have to extend something, we have to communicate something. Okay, so we jump in directly to our discussion. So, okay. So first, we must have an overview of agricultural extension. Okay. Okay. So agricultural extension. Of course, there's a component of communication in here. We have to discuss that in a later chapter. So first, we have to look at the meaning of extension science. No. Okay. So extension is a professional communication intervention. Okay. It is an intervention deployed by an institution. The purpose? To induce change in voluntary behaviors with presumed public or collective utility. So, meaning to say, our extension must have a public and collective utility. Meaning to say, it is of a great use or great importance to the community. Although we have an extension for individual method, but the greater emphasis was given on the impact and onto the public or to or for a collective utility. No? So again, so extension is a professional communication intervention. It is an intervention deployed by an institution. There must be an institution for the purpose to induce change in voluntary behaviors with presumed public or collective utility. So I mean to say, the intervention should be, it could be a practice, change practice, it could be a technology, it could be an innovation, no? Intended to improve the living of the rural people. It should be deployed by institution. So there must be an institution involved. For example, the Davao Oriental State University is an example of an institution who have been delivering extension or outreach program to the different communities in the neighboring municipalities, no? And even in the region 11 as a whole, for the purpose to induce the change in voluntary behavior. So, just like education, no, extension aim to change the behavior. For example, there must be bad behavior change into something that is good. So we have to mold individuals into a behavior that is desirable. Okay? For example, dati dili siya ganahan mag-uma, karon ganahan na siya mag-uma. So ang behavior towards farming must be changed, no? So anything that must be changed with respect to behavior, no? With the presumed public collective utility or public or collective utility magamit, no, mapuslan sa publiko. Di lang kay sa individual, although public is composed of different individuals, but we try to look at the community, no, that we are going to help in terms of extension project or program. So that is extension science, no? Okay. So another is extension is a non-formal education, okay, providing information needs to farmers. Okay, when we say non-formal education, as compared to kana bitang may eskwela ta diya sa eskwelahan mosulod ta, for example, college ta, no, first year, second year, third year, o naata sa high school, kanang naa sa classroom, kanang na ay klaro nga curriculum approved by CHED, that is a formal education na ay classroom, no, na ay insaktong hanay sa topic na ay prospectus, ano, na ay syllabus, unya na ay insakto nga schedule sa time, no, MWF, DTH. That is a formal education, but extension is a non-formal education. No, meaning to say, conducted outside the campus, no, outside the classroom. Okay, again, extension is a non-formal education providing information needs to farmers. Kaya atong kliyente diri are adults, no, particularly farmers ang atong mga student. Okay, non-formal education is an organized, systematic educational activity carried out outside the framework of the formal system, no? Outside the framework of the formal system to provide selected types of learning. There must be a selected types of learning to subgroups in the population and to augment informal learning processes to facilitate certain valued types of learning. So again, it is a non-formal, extension is a non-formal, meaning to say outside sa classroom, no, outside in the framework of the formal system. And non-formal education is an organized, no, although it is non-formal, but there is an organized topic, there is a formal arrangement to conduct the activity. No, non-formal education is an organized, it is a systematic educational activity, although it is non-formal, but it is a systematic educational activity. Why we call it systematic, ang extension? Because there is an approaches in here. There is scientific approach in doing extension work. There is a strategy, there is a method, no? There is a system of doing this activity, no? Carrying outside the framework of the formal system to provide selected types of learning to subgroups, meaning to say, sinabi kayo na, of public utility, no? To subgroups or community, okay? We can cater extension activity for the youth, no? Or for barangay, or for women's, or for any subgroups, no? Or any community in the population. To augment informal learning process to facilitate certain valued types of learning. Valued types of learning, maybe examples of valued types of learning is, in the conduct of extension, it is not the lecturer, it is not the institution who will identify the types of topic or learning that the learners want to learn. It should be from the perspective of the clientele or the learners. Kung unsa lang gustong mahibal-an mo atong ihatag, dili kay kita ang moingon nga kini ang angayan og para sa inyo. So sila mismo ang mag-identify unsa ang ilahang valuable types of learning. Unsa nga mga problema nga dapat na mahibal-an unsa ang pag-solve. Sila dapat ang magsulti kung unsa ang mga learnings nga ilang dapat ma-learn. No, kita na lang ang mag-provide ana. So nga na ang extension, no. Dili katulad ng sa formal sa classroom. So naa-adyoy topic no, ang magbuot sa topic ang eskwelahan, ang magbuot sa topic ang maestro kaniyat ang hisgutan. Sa formal system of learning. But dito sa extension which is non-formal, ang mag-identify sa topic na dapat ma-learn is ang client or ang learner. Okay? So take note the difference between formal and non-formal. Now, based on the definitions that we have had just discussed and read, no, there are some elements in the definitions of extension science. No? Yes, sinabi doon, it is a non-formal because outside in the framework of formal or outside in the classroom. Although it is a systematic, no, it is a form of intervention because we try to solve, no, we try to extend something that is valuable to our clients that needs to solve their existing problem, no, parang applied or practical intervention. Dito na ta maghatag og solusyon sa mga problema nga gi-mention o giingon sa atong mga clients dito sa mga rural areas, sa mga communities, no. It is form of intervention. It could be a practice, no, change practice. It could be a new technology na kailangan nila. It could be a procedure, no? Anything or something that would solve their problems that we have to give them as in terms of intervention or extension program. Okay? Right, now extension of science is also a form of communication because when we give new technologies, when we give intervention, we have to communicate. No, we have to extend. We have how do we able to communicate the interventions that we need to give to them. No, there is a process of communication. So kasama sa extension ang communication. So it will be discussed later on. No, you have to communicate, and there are some factors that would affect the way we communicate. No, sometimes people do not understand each other because the communication there's communication, shall we say, communication failure, no? Kung if we cannot communicate well, so our clients will not able to understand us in that way, so we cannot transmit our communication. So there should be a failure of extension kung dili ta kabalo mag-communicate. So we take into account and consider the factors that would affect the communications, no? Ano yung mga makaepekto? Ano nung mayroon ang speaker? Basin ang speaker, di ka wala may istorya, no? Di siya knowledgeable sa topic. O kaya, ang listeners, ang learners, ang farmers, dili siya kaayo makarelate sa gi-communicate. So there must be a failure of communication. So try to make it sure in extension that the communications should takes place in a successful way. Okay? And also, uh, extension depends on a voluntary change, no? So walay pog sanay dinhi, no? Okay, walay pog sanay. Di na daw pugson ang tao nga dili gusto. Mahirap 'yun, no? Dili sila ready, dili sila andam. So depends on a voluntary change. So there's no compulsory, there's no coercion. Okay? It depends on voluntary change. But the fact that the information or the intervention must be given, must be derived from them, sila ang mag-ingon, silang gusto, sila ang mag-mention, silang interest. So kana siya medyo gusto silang mag-learn, no? So pero kung kita magbuot na dili sila ganahan sa topic, so problema di karon dili voluntary ang learning, no? So depends on a voluntary change. So dili siya pinugsanay, no coercion and no compulsory. Okay? An extension is based on a targeting process, no? There must be a target group, no? Ano bang mga group ang ating bigyan ng extension program or work base sa ilahang mga request. So pwede siya mga school youth, out of school youth, pwede siya mga group of teachers, pwede siya sa mga group of mga women's, mga nanay, groups of mga farmers, group of fishers, no? uh, Targeting process. So, mayroon tayong grupo na bigyan ng extension or outreach program, no? As per request, no? And of course, deployed by institution. So, pag sinabing institution, there has been organizations involved. For example, ng institution, we have DORSO, no? Davao Oriental State University has been has been conducting outreach program in different communities, no? In different rural areas. Kasama dito ang LGU, no, mga munisipyo. Kasama dito ang mga Department of Agriculture, o pwede rin CHED, no, depending on the topic. Pwede pwede siya ang tawag ito, Philippine Coconut Authority. So any organization or institution, no, it could be private, it could be government, it could be NGO, non-government organizations. So as long as it is an institution. So that is the bare heart of extension science. Now, it is a non-formal. It is a form of intervention based on the problem needs to be addressed. It is a process of communication because we need to communicate. We need to extend through communication our technologies, our practices, no? And depends on a voluntary change. Walay pinugsanay. Targeting process. So there is an objective. There is a specific group that needs to be extended with our help. Then deployed by institution. Mayroong mga institution involved dyan. Okay? So that is the elements in the definition of extension science, or that is the bare heart of extension in general. No? Okay. So now, if we have a broad term of extension, we have more or less narrower or specific scope of extension, which is agricultural extension, because there could be another extension apart from agriculture, no? But for this topic, we will be focusing on agriculture extension. Okay. So just like extension in general, it is systematic. No, it is procedural. Okay, agricultural extension is a system. Okay, which assess farm people through educational procedure. So there is a procedure. It's a system which assess farm people through educational procedure to improve farming. Okay, improve farming methodology and income, so better levels of living and lift the social and educational standards of the rural life. So okay, the main purpose of agricultural extension is to improve farming methodology and improve income and also improve the levels of living and lift the social and educational standard of rural people. When we say the social, maybe in terms of income, okay, in terms of status in the society, and also lift the educational standard. So I mean to say, we have to improve their learnings, no, in terms of seminar trainings, no, in terms of educational processes through extension. So again, agricultural extension is a system which assess farm people through educational procedure to improve farming methodology and income, better levels of living, and lift the social and educational standards of the rural life. So we are always looking at the life of the grassroots levels of the community, no? Yung mga dito gid sa mga barangay, dito sa mga sitio, dito sa pinakasuok gid ang ato ang tanawon. Kung tanawon nimo sa picture, so we need to help rural people, no? Yung mga people in the countryside, people in the very far flung areas. Okay? So, special attention here through educational procedure. So, when we say educational procedure, so we have to deliver our interventions with the correct procedures. No? There are some methods, approach, and methodologies in conducting extension or education to our farmers. So, take note that is agricultural extension. Okay, extension education, balik na to, no? Is a non-formal and applied science. With applied science, uh, we need to have a practical knowledge or practical practices, no? That would solve our daily problem. Okay, extension education is a non-formal education and applied science focused on the problem of out of school education for adults and youth. Out of school, that is outside the classroom, that is the extension education, but the approach methodology more or less the same with formal, no? Okay, so this is the extension education. So there are different meanings of educations from different countries, no? Meaning of extension from different countries. For example, in Netherlands, extension word is the verlichting, no? That is the same as extension in Netherlands, meaning lighting the path ahead to help people find their way, no? So mayroong mga meaning ang extension ng different word matag laing country, no? Sa Indonesia, ang term ng extension is pinyuluhan. Sa Indonesia, meaning lighting the path ahead or lighting a path ahead with a torch. Parang guide, no? Ang mga extension workers doon. Extension program is a guide sa mga farmer. Sa Great Britain and Germany, ang word na extension is advisory work. Meaning, an expert gives advice, no? An experts give advice on the problems of the farmers of the community. Okay? The term extension in the Germany is Aufklärung, okay? Which means meaning enlightenment, stresses where we are going, no? Stresses where we are going. So mura siya direction yapon. Asa ta paingon, no? O another in Germany, another word is Erziehung, which means education, no? To educate, particularly mga farmers or rural people outside the classroom. That is, take note in Germany we have Aufklärung and Erziehung. And Austria, the extension means is Förderung, meaning furthering, simulating one to go in a desirable direction. So moving forward, no, parang improvement din. In France, extension word is vulgarization. So need to simplify the message for a common man. So there's need to simplify the message for a common man. No? Kita ko magkandak tag extension program dito sa mga barangay kahat ng kandak. So atong likayan ang mag-English kung pwede atong gamiton Bisaya kung Bisaya or Tagalog kung di ta kabalo kay sa ilahang term. Pero kung Mandaya sila nya kabalo ta magmandaya, so we have to speak in Mandaya, no? We have to speak in vernacular, no, or the common language in the community. Okay? So ang Spain ang extension is kapacitasyon. So improving the skills of the people, improving people's skills, no? Asa. The purpose mo sa education, no, in general is to change the knowledge, the values, the attitudes and skills, no? So yan ang pinaka-purpose ng education, no? Is to change the knowledge, values, attitudes, and skills. No? Kibas akong tawagan na sa una pa. Okay? So yan ang mga different equivalent words na extension of different countries. No? But what is the purpose of extension? We have the mission, the vision, no? We have the purpose, the goals, objectives, and activity. No? Ayan ang mga hierarchy of purpose. Well, the purpose of extension is one is emancipatory. Ibig sabihin ng emancipatory extension from the word emanciation, no? Emancipatory or emancipation intends to free and uplift the poor. Mura ba siya, luwason siya sa kalisod, no? Luwason sa kalisod. Emancipation or emancipatory extension intends to free and uplift the poor. So atong ipa-improve ang mga pobre, no? So another purpose of extension is for formative extension, no? Emphasizes the formation or enhancement of the people's capacity, no? We have to empower people, no? Emphasizes the formation or enhancement of the people's capacity. So we have to empower people so that, or we have to train people, we have to educate people to increase their capacity in terms of learning, in terms of decision making, in terms of action, no? Choosing the right decision, the right choice. Yan. Formative extension enhance the people's capacity. No? The another purpose of extension is informative extension. Informative extension is undertaken to help people make well-considered choices, no? Among alternatives. I mean to say, there is a lot of choices on how to solve their problems, but they should be empowered as to which among the choices is best for them, is good for them, because there could be various choices and alternative in solving problems. So make sure that people we have to capacitate them in terms of deciding as to which is the best information that is good for them, no? So informative extension, one of the purpose of extension. Okay, another is persuasive extension. You have to persuade something, no? Aims to achieve societal objectives and collective utilities, no? Okay. Aims to achieve societal objectives, no, rather than individual motives, individual interests, no? Ano ba ang gusto sa kadaghanan, no, sa society, sa komunidad? So we have to address that, we have to solve that. And collective utilities, no, para magamit sa public in general, not for a common, not for a personal or individual interest ang atong tanawon. Okay? So again, we have the persuasive extension as one of the purpose of extension. Yan. Okay, apart from purpose, no, we have okay, the objectives or the main objectives of extension. Okay, so we have purpose, objective, no? Then the objective of agriculture extension is to act as intermediary. So I emphasize the word intermediary between agricultural development institution and target group. So pag sinabing intermediary, para siyang middleman, no? Para siyang middleman, para siyang mediator between the institution, no, between the institution who is delivering the extension outreach program and the target group will be a farmer. So kung mao ni ang sample, kung mao ni ang institution, say example lang, no? If this is the institution and the other group is the target groups or farmer target groups, such as farmers for example, or any groups, no, for that matter. So nasa tunga ang extension. Ang extension is siya ang middleman, no, nasa tunga. So nagpatunga siya sa duha, murag siya ang mag-facilitate, no, sa between sa institution. Kung naay research institution, yan ang ihatag yung target group. So siya ang mag-facilitate, siya ang magtabang para ang information nagikan sa institution mahatag dito sa target groups, no. Og naay feedback diri sa target group, na iya pong ibalik dito sa institution para ma-improve. For example, naay research, naay technology, ihatag dito sa target group. So mahatag sa target group tungod kay nahibalo ang extensionist as a mediator, as a intermediary. Nahibalo siya nga muna ang kailangan nga technology mo nagiingon sa target group. Pero pag apply sa technology doon, na ay feedback ng technology, something is wrong sa technology, needs to be improved. Ang kanina pong extension agent o extension, agriculture extension, iyan na pong inform ang institution na na problema sa technology needs to be improved. Siya ang tigpatunga, no? Wala siya na in between sa institution and target group. So again, agriculture extension is as intermediary between the institution and target group. Then another objective of agriculture extension is to aid in the transfer and adaptation of research results to or by farmers, no. Kung naay research nga bag-o, naay mag-o nga mga technology, so mutabang ang agriculture extension para ma-transfer ang technology dito sa mga farmers, no, or kaya aron ma-adapt ang technology aron magamit sa farmer, aron ma-postlan sa farmer, no, i-adapt nila sila ang mga farms, no. Ang technology could be from the institution karong bag-o, it could also be ang technology, pwede rin ang technology by farmers because ang farmers pwede man magiging scientist, no, pwede siya mag-research because siya ang nasa field, kabalo siya sa sitwasyon. So diyan ang function, no, aid in the transfer and adaptation of research results, no, of technologies. Also, one of the function of extension is to structure new institutions that can influence the whole agriculture production system. So, ang agriculture extension, pwede siya maka-form o organization, no, groups, no, pwede siya maka-create o group, form a groups, no, pwede siya makabuhat o co-op, ma-facilitate siya sa buhat o sample, cooperative, no, mga organizations, mag-form siya organization that the organization can influence the whole agricultural system, no. Okay, so establish or structure new institutions that can influence agricultural production system, such as for example in community organizing, no. Ang agriculture extension, it can form a community that could influence production in agriculture. Mga co-op, yan sabi ng mga farmers co-op. Also, one of the functions of the extension is to mobilize all the necessary resources in extension work. Mobilize mean to say magamit ang mga resources, no, in extension work. For example, kung mag-conduct siya og training ang extension agriculture extension or ang extensionist, so pwede siya makig-partner sa bisan kinsa nga institution, private, public, no, magtinabangay para mag-ambag-ambag para makakandak og extension. Or pwede po, example, ang college pwede magkandak og seminar, pero kung wala expert sa college sa Durso, makuha siya og human resource doon sa DA para mo hahatag og topic, or kaya doon sa Pagro o kaya sa MAO, no, mobilize human resources, o kaya mga isyag fund sa bisan asa nga mga institution para lang ma-mobilize ang necessary resources in the extension work. mobilize all the necessary resources. Resources, it could be money, it could be knowledge, no, human capital, it could be land, it could be building, no, any resources that could be utilized for extension work. Okay, so those are the objectives of the extension, no. Now, kung mayroon tayong purpose, objective, mayroon tayong goals, no? Ano yung mga goals ng agriculture extension? Well, it promotes the utilization of appropriate production technology. Technology promotion, no? In short, this is technology promotion. Tech promotion. But of course, be sure that the technology should be compatible with the need of the farmer. Technology promotion. Promote the utilization of appropriate production technologies. So ano yung mga technology para maka-harvest daghan, mamaayo atong production sa agriculture. Another goals na agriculture extension accelerates transformation of Philippine agriculture and fisheries from resource-based to a technology-based industry. Excuse me. Sa una, no, ang paradigm is based on resource-based ang atong production. Kung unsay naa sa ato ang farm, atong gamito, no? Pero karong bag-o lahi na, no? So our paradigm shifts from resource-based to a technology-based. No, kung mag-conduct ta og production activity in our farm, so mas maayo kung technology-based ang ato ang activity. Excuse me. Okay? So accelerates, no, the transformation. So paspas ang shift of paradigm accelerates the transformation of Philippine agriculture and fisheries from resource-based to a technology-based industry, no? So transform from resource-based to technology-based. Okay. So another goals of agriculture extension is improves productivity. Dapat madagko ato ang abot, no? Dapat mo taas ang ato ang income, farm income. Dapat ma-improve atong social condition of the people. Ibig sabihin na from middle class, from lower class classification in society, pwede siya may mga dato pod gamay na ma-improve gamay, no? Social conditions, naka-eskwela, no? Naikahibalo. And also induces voluntary change, no? Ibig sabihin na walay pog sanay. Okay, ang changes. Another goal ng extension is helps people form sound opinion. Tabangan ito ang mga tao nga makabuhat siya maayo, mapanghuna-huna. Okay? Helps people form a sound opinion, make good decisions, plan for changes, and move them for action. Dapat maayo yung opinion, maayo yung decision, plan for changes, no? Gusto siya na siya gustong makabaguhan sa iyang attitude o siyang practice o siyang skills, then kailangan na mulihok sila, no, para silang sarili. Helps form sound opinion, makes people decisions, plan for changes, and move them to action. Dili man enough mag-decide lang ta, magplano lang ta. You have to act our plan, no? You have to implement our plan. Okay? So these are the goals of agricultural extension. Okay, so we have the purpose, we have the objective, and we have the goals. Okay, So procedure, no? The procedure in conducting agriculture extension. Okay. So procedure in agriculture extension is extension activities should go to members of rural families, no? Dapat ang ato ang client is rural families where they are. Kung asa man sila, pwede dito na sa mga balay, sa ilang barangay lang natin i-conduct ang agriculture extension. Okay? So extension should treat all farmers and their wives as rational adults, no? So atong hunaon nga ang kanas laki mga adults na nanas lay kahibalo. So atos lang i-treat nga rational being, no? Di nato sila kaminusan. So kung pwede atong hunaon sila ka-level lang nato sila, no? Nga naa sila yung mga kahibalo na. Dili sila yung mga bata pa, no? Okay, extension should treat all farmers and their wives as rational adults. Okay? Yan ang mga ito yung mga one of principles of extension, no? In terms of procedure, so ito yung mga procedure natin in conducting extension, no? And some consideration we have in mind. Okay, another principles of extension based on procedure. So when we conduct extension contacts should be fitted into times when farmers are not too busy, no? So kung mag-story tag farmer, kung mag-survey ta, mag-interview ta, atong siguruhon nga di ta makaisturbo sa ilang adlaw-adlaw nga activity, no? Atong timingon nga wa sila trabaho. Sa ko sa una, no, kung nag-doctorate ko, mag-interview kog farmer kanang mga alas 4, alas 5 hangtod na sa alas 8 sa gabi, alas abot pag alas 9 para lang nga dili antala ang ilang mga activities sa balay o sa uma. So, ang extension contacts should be fitted into times when farmers are not too busy. So, ibig sabihin na not at the comfort of extensionists but at the comfort of our clients or farmers. Okay? So, another procedure in the principles in conducting extension is intensity and activities should be varied in different localities. Na intensity and activities ibig sabihin na ang ato ang kapilatan mo adto sa matag lugar o kung sa atong mga activities lugar lain-lain sa matag lugar, no? Yan na siya. Tungod kay ang matag lugar lain-lain man lang concern, lain-lain lang problema. So activities should be different from different barangays. Magkakataon nga pareho, well okay, but kasagara lain-lain ang concern, no? Sa matag tao, matag community, matag lugar. Now, principles of extension in terms of practice and in terms of technology, no? Kanina, principles of extension in terms of procedure. Now, in terms of practice, in terms of technology, so, practice must be both technically, financially, practices must be both technically, financially profitable, and socially desirable. Now, kung maghatag taktik, okay. So, ang farmer natay ihatag ang technology based sa ilang request, no? Base sa ilang problema. Ang ilang problema kung ma-solve siya through technology transfer. Again, kung ilang problema sa mga farmers, ma-solve siya paghatag og technology. So, or in terms of change practices, the technology or the practices must be both technically profitable. Ibig sabihin ng technically profitable is or technically feasible. Ibig sabihin na kaya nila buhaton technically. Okay? Kaya ra nila magkinamot, no? Kaya ra pod in coordination with or with the assistance of extensionist or change agent, no? Dapat kaya technically. Kung na may procedure, kaya nila i-perform, kaya ra nila mabuhat kung sila. And also dapat ang practice or ang technology should be financially profitable, no? Kaya basta ang ihatag nato nga practice o technology mahal kaayo, di makaya sa ilang level sa ilang income. So wala pa ipulos ang atong technology, no? It should be financially profitable and also kaya ra pod, no, sa mga mag-uma or sa atong mga kliyente. And also socially desirable. So kasi baka kasi ang technology atong gihatag is dili fit culturally, no? Lahi silang culture, kanang dili kaya silang religion. no, it should be socially desirable. Basin og ang gihatag ato nga technology is sukwahi sa ilahang paniniwala, silang pagtuo, no, og sa ilahang relihiyon. So atong tan-awon, no, it should be again ang technology nga atong ihatag in terms of extending extension program, it should be must be both technically, financially profitable and socially desirable. So, dili na mo dawat sila kung palugi manggaling, no? Okay. So that is the principle of extensions based on practice and technology. Okay. Again, another practices or the technology nga ilang i-adapt should be discussed or demonstrated with farmers just before the time to use it. Kasagara, no, ang attitude sa mga tao is dili sila mo adapt sa technology, dili sila mo practice sa technology kung wala sila yung nakita, no. It's parang uh, kung makita, mas maayo kung makita nila ang epekto before sila mo adapt, no. Practice should be discussed or demonstrated with farmers just before the time to use it. For example, kung naa kay technology nga ihatag sa farmer, dapat naa say gitawag og method, no, dapat na result demonstration, siguro may demo farms, no, naa say gamay nga trial aron makita sa farmer ang epekto. Kung makita lang nga maayo ang epekto, muna nga mosunod sila, mo adapt sila, no, sa bagong technology. Again, practice should be discussed or demonstrated with farmers just before the time to use it. Pasabton sila maayo kung pwede ipakita gid sila ang resulta before sila mo tuo og mo dawat, no. Ingana ang kinaiya sa farmer. Okay, principle of extension in terms of method, no, kanina in terms of practice or technology, ina nga mga technology dapat compatible sa ilaha, no, financially, physically. So in terms of method and conducting extension, ano yung mga principles? So the good extension teaching uses a wide variety of teaching method. So wide variety of teaching method. So ano ba ang mga teaching method? Pwede siya radyo, pwede siya TV, pwede discussion, pwede siya lecture, no? So kung daghang gagamiton nga method of teaching, method of extension, mas dali masabtan, no, na makita, madungog, no, kung pwede. So again, good extension teaching uses a wide variety of teaching method. Pero maglaylahi ang teaching method depende sa topic, no, depende sa technology. So malaylahi pud siya. Okay? So good extension teaching uses a wide variety of teaching methods. So we have different teaching methods. We have lecture, we have discussion, we have multimedia, we have projector, we have drama, we have so many teaching methods. Okay. In terms of method, no, the unit of instruction should, in most cases, be a single new method or change practice, no. Okay, kung pwede, no, the unit of instruction should be a single new method or change practice, no. Kasagara atong itudlo, no, atong itudlo is kanang mga change practice or new method, new technology o bagong pamaagi. Bagong pamaagi sa pag-uma, bagong pamaagi sa pag-unsa pa diha, no. Pagluto kaya sa ba, no, na mga pamaagi sa pagluto, dahil depende, no, kung unsa nga ato ang new technology or new practice. Okay, yan ang mga principles of extension method. Okay, dapat bago, no. Ang anak tutuluan sa karaan na kaayo niya, nanay bago di ayo, di maayo. And also, we have the principles of extension in terms of impact, no. The impact of extension is greatest for areas where accessible, which are accessible and have established facilities. Okay, now, when we are conducting extension activities, extension program, no, after 5 years, we're going to conduct the impact analysis. No, ano bang mayroon bang impact ang mga extension program, no, nga atong i-conduct, mga outreach nga atong i-conduct sa matag community, sa matag grupo, no, sa matag barangay, na ba impact, no, itong tanawon in 5 years. But there are some factors that would affect the impact of extension activities, extension program, no. Again, extension impact is greatest for areas which are accessible, no. One of the factors that would affect the impact of extension is accessibility of the area, no. Na may karsada, so mabisitaan ba, mamonitor ba sila, o naabay signal, no, accessibility in terms of communication, accessibility in terms of road, no, nga na, no, and have established facilities like for example na may mga inputs, no, na may mga abono, kung abono dito, naabay mga organic dito, no, naabay mga pautang dito, no, naba sila kabaligyan, no, ada do affect the impact. So tilaw na to, no, ang the principles, extension principles in terms of impact. But as sinabi, the impact is maayo ang impact ng extension kung accessible ang area, have established facilities. Siguro isama ko na rin as maayo ang impact sa technology kung ang atong mga farmers is kanang ang level of education, no, maka-apekto, no, kana bitaw. Siguro dali na sila kasabot discussan, no, nga na siya mas maka-apekto pod sa impact. Attitude pod ng farmers and also attitude ng technician also maka-affect sa impact. And also maka-affect sa impact ang biological factors such as climate, no, nga na siya. Depende, no. Nga na. So yun, that is the extension principles based on method, procedure, impact, and based on technology atong gamiton and practices. So there are basic principles of extension, no? So again, extension starts where the people are and with what they know and have, no. Kung makonduct tag extension, no, extension starts where the people are. Ibig sabihin, kung maayo makakondukta sa itong extension, makadiscuss ta extension where the people are, so dito lang kung kaya rin dito silang mga silingang balay o di silang mga barabarangay, silang mga sitio, silang mga purok, okay na yon, no. Di na to sila ingnon pang ari mo diri sa university, ari mo diri sa syudad, no, di gasto na sila, no. So extension starts where the people are. Pwede silang pwede silang balay, pwede sa mga barangay hall, pwede sa mga purok kiosk, no, pwede ra. And start where the people are and with what they know. So kailangan kung makanak ng extension na leveling up, no, ibig sabihin unsa bay level of understanding aning mga tawhana, no, asa na ba sa level of understanding ani nga mga hisgutanan. So ingon ana pod sa classroom, no, sa classroom kung magklase ta abi na ako, so I have to scan, I have to browse, I have to conduct a leveling of so that alam ko kung ano ba ang level ng mga estudyante na to. Alam ko kung saan ko mo-take off, kung unsa akong isulti, no? Again, so extension start where the people are and with what they know and what they have. So again, kung mag-conduct tag extension activity, ang atong gamiton nga mga gamit para mag-takes place ang learning sa extension, so magamit lang ta og magamit nga kanang unsalay naa sila og naa sa palibot. So di ta mo demand og mga mahalon kay gamit para matuto sila, no. So di ta mag-demand sila og mga laptop, mga computers, dili na. Kung unsa lang ang naa sila, no, magamit pud tag mga specimen for discussion, kung pwede magamit na kanang naa lang sa mga palibot, magamit na to. Again, one of the basic principles of extension is extension starts where the people are and with what they know and with what they have. So di na to sila dalon sa layong lugar kay wa sila iplite nya lisod. Napod sila busy pod sila, na sila mga trabahon silang balay. Kung kaya na to mag-conduct og extension na program, extension na class, dito lang dool sila mga balay o sa ilang village nila, di na to sa lugar. And start with what they know. So ato silang tan-awon unsa ang ilang level sa kahibalo. Kay kung sa level nila sa kahibalo, mao ra po yung level sa atong pagtudlo. Di na to sila pwede tudloan na kanang doctorate level, masteral level, or high school level. Ato lang tudluan kung unsa ang level nga dapat lang sa ilaha. Nya mo gamit pud ta og mga gamit sa pagtudlo kanang naa lang sa balay, naa sa palibot. Di na ta mag-demand og mga bisan unsa pa nga mga gamit nga maglisod pa sila og purchase og palit, no. Di na to sila pahirapan. Yan ang one of the basic principle of extension. Again, the classroom is where the people are. So yan sinabi ko kanina, kung asa sila dito lang ta mag-discuss, no. The classroom is where the people are. Kaya nga tinawag na non-formal because ang outside sa formal, outside sa eskwelahan, no. The classroom is where the people are. On the farms, pwede sa farm, pwede silang balay, pwede sa mga villages, pwede sa mga barangay hall, pwede sa purok, sa mga purok, no? Kung asa lang sila komportable. Okay? So another principles of extension is extension programs are based on needs of the people. So ang atong ihatag nga mga outreach program based on the needs of the people. Base sa ilang pangailangan. Anyang magsulti sa ilang pangailangan, dapat sila pod, no? Dili ta miingon nga kani inyong kailangan, so kani among ihatag, dili. Sila dapat ang moingon kani among problema, mao ni among kailangan, taga mi ani. So and are decided upon by the people. Silang mag-decide, no? Dili kita magbuot. So mali 'yun, no? Kung kita ang extension program, kita magbuot unsay ihatag, unsay buhaton sila, ah, dili siya ideal. The ideal is it should be the farmers who identify the problems, and that problem should be decided upon them, and you only have to give them intervention based on their identified and requested technology based on their problem. Then extension works with and through people and not for them. Again, extension works with, so kung kita ang technician, we have to work with, dili ta ingon ka lang motrabaho para sa ilaha, kundi motrabaho ta sabay sila trabaho, no? Kay di pud maayo nga kita na ang magtrabaho para sa ilaha, kay gitudloan nato sila na katamaran. So extension works with, okay, work with people, okay, and also work through people. So work with them, dili kay kita ang magtrabaho gid fully para sila, ha, dapat tabang-tabang lang, facilitator lang ta, mo timon lang ta, no? So extension works with and through people and not for them. Ibig sabihin, di ta mulihok kita lang para gid sa ila, kung dili mo tabang-tabang lang ta sa ila, pero sila gid ang mulihok para sa ilang sarili, para matuto sila, because there should be a change in attitude in terms of learning how to do, valuing sa ilahang hard work. So dapat matuto sila, no? Dili kay kita ang mulihok para sa ila. Kung kita mulihok, tabang-tabang lang ang ato ana. So extension works with and through people and not for them. Okay. So other principles of extension is extension is carried on either with groups of people or with individual, and with different target groups in the pwede po community, no? So pwede mo extension carried out in individual extension, meron tayong group extension, meron po tayong works with different target groups in the community, pwede mga youth, pwede mga nanay, pwede mga tatay, no? Community, pwede mga fisher folks, pwede, no? So yan na ang ibig sabihin doon. One of the principles. And also, one of the basic principle extension is the spirit of self-help is essential for democratic living. So self-help, ibig sabihin is igor ta mo alalay as extensionist, as technician, igor ta mo alalay sa ilaha, pero sila gid mismo ang mutabang sa ilang sarili, no? Sila ang mutabang sa ilang sarili, kay igo lang ta mag-alalay sa ilang sarili. Self-help. No? How can you help other people when they will not able to learn how to help themselves, no? So, the spirit of self-help is essential for democratic living. Tabang ta, pero sila gid mismo ang mutabang sa ilang sarili, no? Igo lang na mag-alalay. Yun, no? So, another principle is people learn by doing. People learn to do by doing. Learn by doing, no? Learning by doing. So, kasagaran, no, ang mga adult learners, kanang mga farmers, mga idarana, kasagara gusto nila is learning by doing. Dili bitaw explainan pa mo sila what is photosynthesis, what is respiration, no? Dili. Gusto nila automatic na application, while gitrabaho nila, nag-learn sila. Nga na ang gusto nga learning sa mga adult learners, yan ang gusto nila, no? People learn to do by doing. Pero kita nga nasa eskwelahan na discuss sa dadaan og theories and concept, up till na kita nga nata sa classroom sa formal, pag nahibalan na nato ang theories and concept, apply na to, no? Natay OJT, natin tayo laboratories, no? Natay actual hands-on activity. But while conducting the activity, we have to revisit ano yung mga theories, ano yung mga concepts and science behind of what we are doing, no? Yan siya. So lahi siya, no? Extension cooperates and coordinates with other people, with other development organization. Again, extension cooperates and coordinates with other development organizations. So mayroon tayong tinawag na partnership, no? Mayroon tayong mga different stakeholders. Kung makanak ng extension, there are stakeholders, there are partners that are involved, no? Kasama siguro ang college, kasama ang munisipyo, kasama ang LGU, no? We have LGU, we have college, daghan ng mga stakeholder. There's a merong cooperation, merong coordination, okay? LGU, ano pa ba? Mga NGOs, non-government organization, no? Mga cooperatives, ano yan, marami pang iba. Extension cooperates, ibig sabihin ng cooperates, we have to cooperate kanang mo appeal, no? Makibana. So, be involved. Siguro mag-donate, siguro kung na extension activity na ay mag-donate, na ay matabang sa trabaho. So, mo appeal, no? Sa kalihukan. Ang coordinates, ibig sabihin ng coordinates, pwede siya kanang, for example, different stakeholders. Okay, sample kung naate isa ka project, siguro makig-coordinate ta sa another nga mga institution basig mohatag sila og funding ani sa snacks. Another na pud nga organization or another nga office mohatag og budget sa kanang panalitan sa krudo, no? O kaya na another na pud nga institution mohatag pud siya budget sa shall we say kanang sweldo sa mga speakers, no? So coordination. So maki-coordinate with other development organizations. Okay? And another principle is extension is a two-way exchange information. Ibig sabihin ng two-way, alam natin na extension is a form of communication, a two-way exchange of information. Meaning to say, kung naghatag ta og technology dito sa mga farmers, mangayo po tag feedback sa farmers. So there should be a feedback, no, between source and ang source, for example, institution, source niya na receiver, shall we say, ang receiver for example is farmer, no, receiver ng technology. So maghatag tag information ang source, maghatag information sa receiver, pero ang receiver pod maghatag og feedback sa source. Unsa man hitabo sa technology, maayo ba dili para parang two-way ang communication, no? There must be a feedback mechanism, no? Feedbacking. Di ba kasagara, I don't know kung nakasulay mo, kung naay seminar, after seminar na ada yung evaluation, kumusta ang speaker, okay ba yan pag-istorya, imo nang ratingan nimo. Kumusta ang food, okay ba ang food, no? Maayo bang food, ratingan nimo, maayo, dili maayo. Kumusta ang venue, no? Imong ratingan. So, this the form of endeavor by which extension program could be assessed in terms of feedbacking. So, two-way communication or two-way exchange of information through feedbacking improve extension na activity, no? Mga kitag feedback para ma-improve ta, no? Yan siya. Okay. So, yun ang mga different, no? Different extension principles. So, there is a shift in extension paradigm, no? Na ay mga shift, no, sa extension pattern, no? Aspect, for example, main objective, we have the old method of extension, when we have the new method of extension, okay? So the main objective sa old extension sa una is technology transfer, no? Pero karong bago, ang objective ng extension is empowerment of farmers, no? So empowerment of farmers meaning to say farmers has a capacity to decide, to do, no? Kung mag-technology transfer ta sa una, pwede na ang farmers mismo karon ang mag-develop og technology para sa ila. Kita doon, imbis nga atos lang tagaan og technology, kung pwede atos lang empower ang magbuhat sila research o sila na mismo mahimong innovator, sila na mismo ang tigbuhat og technology nga para sa ila. Nga ma-share po din na sa uban, no? Yan ang new paradigm new model ng extension, no? Ang desired outcomes sa unang karaan nga technology at karaan nga extension, widespread adoptions of technology, no? Sa una is widespread adoption of technology. Hatag lang, hatag technology, hatag, no? Dapat ang kini nga technology magamit sa kadaghanan. Pero karong bag-o nga paradigm or model ng extension is wider choices for farmers, no? So there are a vast list of technology, but the farmers should have knowledge as to which among the technologies appropriate and best for them, no? Dapat kabalo sila mag-decide, mamili. So ang aspects of need assessment, so unsa bay mga needs, no? Unsa bay needs ng farmer. Sa una, ang needs analysis, it should be conducted by other group, no? Sila ang mag-identify silang problema, ang mag-analyze ilang problema, other groups. Pero karong bag-o nga paradigm, karong bag-o nga model ng extension ng agriculture extension, ang farmers dapat mag-analyze ano yung need nila, ano yung problema nila. Aron sila pud mismo maka-develop og technology para sa ila o kaya maka-request sila og technology gikan sa mga institution, no? Ingana, no? Sa una ang mag-analyze silang problem is outsider, karon sila mismo ang mag-analyze na silang problem. In terms of the aspects of decision making, sa old extension model, centralize and standardize. So, ibig sabihin na centralize and standardize, gikan pa sa example, ang decision making, dili gid sila mag-decide. Siguro ang pagro miingon nga kani ang buhatan ninyo, no, ang province o kaya ang municipal agriculture officer miingon nga o kani mga buhatan ninyo sa old nga model, no, or kaya ang college, no, ang dorso miingon nga kani ang the best sa inyo, kani ang buhaton ninyo. So ingana ang old nga style. Pero karong bag-o dili na ingana, no. So ang decision making is decentralized, adapted to the context of the farmers. Ang ibig sabihin na ang decision making magdepende sa ilahang sitwasyon. Sila is empowered na sila mag-decide for themselves, yun nga, no, adaptive to the context sa ilang situation. So sila ang mag-decide depende sa ilang sitwasyon. So yan ang bag-o nga model paradigm ng extension. Ang mode of planning and delivery of technology services, sa pagplano o sa paghatag sa technology services, sa old nga paradigm ng extension is static design. Okay? Fixed packages and supply force. Ibig sabihin static, kanang mao jud ni, no, kanigid siya dapat mao gid ni, no, murag nakarinda na siya ang buhaton ninyo. Mo ni gid atong buhaton, mao gid itong plano, no. And fixed package, so, mao gid ang mga murag gid ni, no, wala na ilang buhaton. And supply push, ibig sabihin na hatag lang kung hatag unsa lay hatag sa ila. Pero ang the new model or the new extension paradigm is it should be evolving design. Meaning to say, this is the plan, but kung mayroong problema, the plan is flexible. Pwede ma-change ang plan depending on the situation. Pwede siya ma-improve depending sa sitwasyon, no? Katulad ngayon, no, ang mga budget sa government nausab because of the existing problem because of the COVID-19 coronavirus. So evolving, dili siya fixed, no? Evolving. We have to change because of our situation, no? And there are a wide variety of choices, no? And it should be demand pull. Ibig sabihin, ano ba ang kailangan? Dili yung ihatag lang diretso, dili ibase sa ilahang kailangan, no? It should be planning and delivery of services. It should be demand pull sa new paradigm or new model ng extension program. Ang menu of the extension is fixed, no? Fixed, pero there is a la carte. Meaning to say is daghan silang kapilian, wide array of practices and technology, but they have to decide for themselves. Ng farmers, maka-decide sila what is best for them. No? Mili lang sila. And linkages and alliances in terms of partnership, okay? Sa old system ng extension, institution works in isolation. Ibig sabihin na walay partnership, no, sa una. Pero karon, institution linked formally and informally. Merong linkages, merong mga MUA. For example, kung mag-conduct extension sa barangay, for example, barangay Bitaugan, so merong collaboration, merong partnership. For example, ang university maghatag og training in terms of speakers, no, mga expertise, mga hatag technology. Posible ang munisipyo ng San Isidro siya ang maghatag sa snacks, no, or kaya siya maghatag sa certificate. So there is a collaboration between different stakeholders. Karong bag-o, no, more on collaboration, more on different stakeholders involved, partnership, no, coordination, nga na. Okay. So outsiders rule in diagnosis in terms of diagnosis extension. Okay. Ang taga-outside na sa old nga paradigm ng extension, extractive, no, manguha og idea, manguha og data, no, obtain and analyze data, no, extractive. Pero karon ang bag-o na ang siders rules in diagnosis. So ang taga-outside enables, ibig sabihin i-enable nila ang mga farmers or mga community to get data for themselves, no? Facilitate farmers own analysis. Sa una, kung mag-analyze ng data is ang mga partner institution, outsiders, pero karon kung pwede ang farmers na mismo mag-analyze sa ilang sitwasyon, sa ilang mga data. No, that is empowerment, no? More empowerment. Rather than na kanang receivers na lang sila. Dapat sila mag-process sa mga information. So nevertheless, yun ang mga meron pa dito, no? Outsiders roles on technology in terms of identifying technology what is best for the farmers. So sa old type, so ang institution, no, ang extensionist, ang technician prescribe, maghatag og kani ang dapat nga technology sa inyo, prescribe and transfer. Pero sa bag-ong model ng extension, dapat ang farmers search for technology, what is best technology for them, and we have to give the technology based on their request, or kung pwede po sila mag-develop, gikan gid sila mismo, no. So the farmers are, no, in the old extension model, the farmers are passive. Meaning kasi ang farmers is passive, madawat na lang sila unsa ihatag sa ila, no, na adapt. Sige, passive, madawat na sila, mo adapt na lang sa ila and follow na lang sa instruction. Then hear messages, mamati, act on percepts, no, adapt or reject package. But karong bag-o, ang bagong model ng extension, so they are active, no, active. Ibig sabihin, naglihok ilang utok, nag-process, nag-function ilang utok. Test and experiment, conduct na sa experiment, no? Research. Use method. So, pwede sila maka-design, maka-design their own method. Apply principles, no? Choose from basket of technologies. So, they are really an empowered farmers. So, because they are rational, we have to treat them like they are educated and they are capable of doing right things for themselves. Naalang ang mga extensionists or ang mga technician, mualalay lang sa ilaha, mo support lang. Ngayon na lang ang atong role sa bag-ong paradigm na extension. So in terms of the paradigm shift in agriculture, the paradigm shift in agriculture research and extension. Sa research and extension, R is research, A extension, no? So meron ding kabaguhan, no, sa research and extension model, no? Farming to produce sufficient food. Sa una, we are farming sa una, and the purpose is to produce sufficient food. But it was changed na siya into farmers as a business in a competitive market, no? Sa una is parang production lang. Pero gi-change ang view into farming as a business in a competitive market. Bakit competitive market? Because there's a demand and supply, no? There should be we have to look into the demand and supply in terms of production, no? In terms of profit, tingnan natin, no? So we look agriculture as entrepreneurial agriculture, no, ang panglantaw. And also, dati is production lang, then gi-change into as farming as a business. Pero wala pa din na human, na-change pa ang panglantaw sa research and extension. The farming as a natural resource management, farming as a natural resource management function. We're looking farming in terms of sustainable agriculture. So nag-shift ang panlantaw sa research and extension program ng mga institution, no? Sa una, we're looking only for basta makaproduce lang okay na, no? Production lang. Pero gitanaw siya next as a business, no? Ang agriculture as business. But karong bag-o gitanaw siya, yes, it is a business, but try to look at the sustainable agriculture. Basin og sobra sa business pero ang atong future generation would not able to enjoy, no, our natural resources. So, yun ang paradigm shift in agriculture. So karon when we are looking at extension production in agriculture, try to look to we can produce, we try to look at the business, but of course try to also look at the concept of sustainability and production. Yun ang paradigm shift ng agriculture. Produce lang tayo, lugi, wala rin. Pero magilan siya, pag madaot ang ato ang nature, wala rin. So try to look at the balance between production, business, and sustainability of environment. So there's a concept in here versus the proactive extension and reactive extension. Okay. When you say proactive extension, we're talking about foresight, no? The future, anticipating the future consequences. Kaya nga sabi natin kanina, it should be sustainable. Magamit pa ba sa next generation ang atong present resources based on our practices today? So that's proactive, no? So reactive, reacting to present problems. So parang nabulaga na lang tayo, there's a problem, we have to solve that today. So that's reactive, no? For me, I am more the proactive rather than reactive. But of course, we have to take a balance between this one because we have some problems, no? We have some urgent problem na mabulaga na lang tanga, mahibalo tanga problema karon nato hibalan. Wala to siya nakita ahead of time nga problem. Na mga problema nga na. So, kaya, we always try to be proactive so that we can solve our problem ahead of time. Meron na tayong mga solution. No, rather than mabulaga na lang ta, react na lang ta. Excuse me. You know, the proactive versus the reactive. Oh, you know, these are the overview of agriculture extension. So marami pa tayo niyan. And I guess sorry nang kubo na tagmayo. We have to continue our discussion on the next meeting with our offline or asynchronous discussion. So thank you very much.